A lot of folks have asked us about the barter blanket. So
Yeah.
one of the keys of a barter blanket is the key of that being human.
Partially.
And I'm going to paraphrase what you said the other night. So
Go ahead.
so I mean, it used to be that if you met somebody, you know, say you were a Bedouin or whatever else, right? That or you even, you know, would socialize with somebody that you just met. What do you do first? You talk about the common thing. You talk about the weather, right?
That would be a common
Hey,
thing.
is it snowing up there in Milwaukee today? That's what we talk about on Zoom call. So,
Okay. You know?
and things like that. And nobody really cares about that, but that breaks the ice and gets us onto a common ground, right?
Okay, yeah.
And acknowledges our humanity. And then if you were
Done correctly, yes.
yeah. And the way it used to be would be then you would have a conversation. You would either share some tea, share some coffee, or something like that, and then have a conversation about your mutual likes,
Right.
or if you lived really close to somebody, then you
Yeah.
would talk about your your potential common ancestors, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, you know him. Yeah, I'm his uncle or something like that.
I grew up in the same town as you. Do you remember the gas station that was
Yeah,
over on
Right.
7th and
Right. So you're making a rapport with the other person. You're coming to a common ground.
which is called empathy.
Yeah, empathy, right. And then bringing out the blanket is just what they used to do, where you'd lay out the blanket and you'd start bringing out some of your lesser items
Right.
and say, hey, you know, I got this thing. What do you got to trade? And
Right.
you trade. It might be a shotgun shell. It might be, you know, or whatever else. You really
Glass beads,
glass. Well, yeah, back
wampum, shells.
Yeah.
The
back far enough. Yeah.
right.
Right.
It could be anything. Now.
And then you're taking your rapport and your and your commonality to the next level,
right.
right?
You want me to tell you what I didn't say the other night?
Okay.
The barter blanket is for the other.
For the other, the visitor.
The person outside your tribe, your clique, your family, your town, your neighborhood,
Sure.
your society, your community, your fellowship, whatever that thing is, right?
Right.
That is how you interact with them.
Uh-huh.
Inside that group, you don't have a barter blanket.
Yeah, that's true.
You have
A reciprocity.
reciprocity, but you have something deeper where I do something for you, knowing you will do something for somebody else in the community at some point. Because we are thriving together. We can either survive individually, we can survive together, or we can just do things for each other because it causes thriving.
Right.
But when we meet the person that's on the outside, we have to find a way to get along, trade, goods cross borders,
Sure.
or troops do, right?
Sure.
That's fundamental to history. So doing the barter blanket, everybody keeps telling me it's about building community. It's not. It's about learning to build connection with the other.
Because you already have connection with your close community. Right.
The problem is no one has community right now.
Correct. Yeah.
So the barter blank is the other. It is how we are going to eventually possibly get to community.
and
But
get to
then
the
that
point
skill will be needed with the other.
and it also develops the community without the full focus on reciprocity. So, like one of our friends said that if you did something for your mother or your brother, would you charge them for it? No, you wouldn't, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you get to the point where if you're in close community with your close friends or whatever else, you're usually not going to charge them for something, and or you might say, hey, you want to go in on a part with me or whatever else, right? So,
Or I will fix your car. You cover the cost of the parts.
yeah.
Because I don't have the cash.
Yeah, sure. And then it's not mushy gushy like you pass it on to someone else. It's just known that this is the kind of community
people are
we have.
helping us all thrive,
Right.
and these people are slacking off. How long are we going to let them slack? Oh, they've been slacking off too much. I am not helping you peel potatoes. Right? That happens. And that person goes, wait a minute, I'm becoming the outsider.
And then
They go, I better get involved or I'm really out, right? That's all normal.
sure.
But that's not what we're told community is.
Right.
We're told community is everybody that lives inside this geographic border belongs to the city. The people outside that, inside this geographic border, live in the township. And the ones outside of that, we have the county border. And then we have these state borders. And then those are your communities. It's not about shared value. When we actually share values, you and I highly prize people with skills.
Sure.
We prize goods made with skills. All goods are made with some level of skills, right? But an individual who has developed their skill to craftsman level is their good is more important to us than that, right? And someone we know who is developing that skill or is a craftsman in a thing is more worth our investing in than someone we don't.
Go ahead.
Every
sorry.
time we go to Walmart, when we could have done business with this person either struggling to become a craftsman or that is a craftsman,
Sure.
we get more Walmarts, not more craftsmen. That's investing in a person's humanness, their skill, and that because they get their dignity, their pride, their self-worth from those things they crafted. That builds them up as a person, and so therefore is a more human thing than the unhuman non-interactions.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
So we need to become people that value that thing and make that a habit. And that's part of saying, what is it that I want more of in my life, and what is it I want less of in my life? What is my perfect day like? And since it's all trade-offs, we're not going to get our perfect day. I get it. How do we have more days closer to that day than not? The person that's going to live that perfect day, who are they? What do they do every day? What do they do every week? What do they do every month? What do they do every year? What do they do in this season? What do
Sure.
they do in that situation? And start moving yourself slowly towards doing those things.
Yep.
And then find people that share those things. You know, if you're buying coffee from the person that roasts at home, right? Well, the person that does that knows somebody that does that. If you don't know anybody that does that, then you need to talk to everybody you can till you find somebody that does. And then you buy from them because that's the person you intended to be, right?
Right.
That's that simple.
Or you see this or hear about it, and then when I hear about stuff like that, I say, I wonder how you do that. And then I research it, and then I try it, and then I do it myself, and then I have it as a skill, and then I bring it to the community.
And that's a good thing
so
too, right?
XYZ person over here has their own side hustle, but they're not part of our community.
Right.
They've got a coffee business.
Here's a trade-off that's really, really hard. Pick a skill that you're a craftsman at, and then not do it, and go buy from somebody that's less of a craftsman than you because you need society. You need that socialization. They need to come up to that level because everybody can try and be 100% self-reliant, self-resilient, not need anyone.
Right.
But if I go support that person trying to become a craftsman at the skill I already have, I can go practice other ones. I can free up my free time. I could go help that person become a better craftsman,
Good.
right?
Yep.
It's more than, ooh, that's a cool skill I would like to have, so I'm going to go try it. And maybe you do, right? Because some of us like to try things.
Sure.
But it's not about mastering every skill or doing it all ourselves.
Or volunteering for everything, which
Right. I volunteer for everything.
I
right?
know.
We're working on it. I don't have a whole year to get better at that, do I?
Right.
I needed to have been better at it yesterday.
You're getting better at it every week, though,
Right. Because why?
because you practice it.
I practice it, but I said, I am going to be a person that volunteers less. Every time I hear myself volunteering, I'm going to walk it back. I am going to be a person that sets priorities and focuses on the priorities and quits adding on.
Yeah, and it also gives other people opportunities to step up and lead or step up and contribute to the community.
Right.
Right. I mean-
We've also talked about, I've decided I'm going to delegate, and I'm going to get better at delegating. And I'm probably just going to have to hire somebody to help me.
Sure.